Hey, Regina here at Tarot and Time in Kent, Connecticut. Let's jump into January using astrology, tarot, intuition for everyday living. So we left off last month talking about the new year, talking about having made a chart for the new year. And we know that every year the sun is in the sign of Capricorn. That's just where we are. But the moon is also in the sign of Capricorn this year. So we're going to have themes of Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn. And Saturn is the lord of the zodiac. He is, in Greek mythology, the god of time, the god of agriculture, the god of wealth, okay? We know that Capricorn rules a lot of the hardships in life. We think that life's going to be all rosy when we get here, and we find it's a lot of work. That's Saturn, okay? Saturn brings us great success over time, as long as we put in the work and pay attention, okay? So we're gonna have themes of this all year. Now, thank goodness the Mercury retrograde will have ended on December 15th. We'll still be a little bit in the shadow period, but what really is going to be in retrograde on New Year's Eve is Mars, okay? So we have a Mars retrograde theme all year. Okay, last year, 2024, we had a Mercury retrograde theme. So we're kind of familiar with this retrograde thing. This is a little different twist because it's Mars, our planet of action. How we get things done, how we get motivated, okay, is going to be in its retrograde period. It's retrograding from December 6th until February 23rd. It started off in the sign of Leo and moving back into the sign of Cancer, bringing us back to the same energy that was going on October 6th of 2024. Okay, so we know we already have themes of slowing down a little bit, looking at things from a different perspective. Okay, now I listened to a lot of different astrologers talk because there's so many, it's so great to take in so many different views of astrology. And I heard that having Mars moving back, it wants to move back really fast, okay? Because Mars likes to do everything fast. So it's kind of moving back at this rapid speed. And we're going to hit points in January where we're really going to get to understand what's going on deeply in us. We're going to have some energy mirrored back to us extra strong this month. I'm going to talk more about that. So a couple days into January, we have Mars opposing Pluto. It's done this a few times now. Its final opposition is on January 3rd, okay? So we are going to kick off the year with Mars at 1 degree of Leo and with Pluto at Aquarius 1 degree, okay? So we're going to have this big opposition going on, and we know that Mars, when it's not balanced, can be very violent, can be very destructive, okay? But it can also show us a lot of things in our life. We can discover how truly strong we are, okay? What the integrity of the heart is. All situations always have a positive and a negative, okay? So you're going to see some variation of this on either end, okay? This is a great time, a great time to release some old childhood stuff. Leo is the sign of the child's heart, right? Mars is going to be moving back into Cancer, which has to do with how we've been nurtured, how we've been cared for. And then Pluto is going to be hanging out there close by, and it's going to want to help us move through and make these changes, okay? We're going to have a lot of planets in the sign of Capricorn. We're going to have the sun and the moon in Capricorn. We're going to have a conjunct Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. We also have Venus hanging out there in the sign of Aquarius. And some astrologers are talking about Venus Ceres, Ceres, which is supposed to be a dwarf planet. I don't know a ton about it, but I do know that some astrologers are saying that this is the most important transit of 2024. Is Venus Ceres being close mixed into all this Capricorn and Aquarius energy. The theme of it is self-care, okay? Taking responsibility that all of our experiences come from us and caring for ourselves moving forward. Now, Mars retrograde, we might not usually have enough time to think about our self-care. And so it's really, really important important during this time to really be looking at it during this Mars retrograde. I picked some cards in a pre-reading just to kind of make sure that I am giving you the information that I need to give you. And I had been reflecting on how with the sun and moon, it conjunct Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, the planet of kind of burning things to carbon, helping us transform, transmute, and release. Okay. And I saw that there was going to be a lot here about the past. And this is such a great time to be able to kind of bury the past because Pluto rules the sign Scorpio. It reminds me of the Judgment card, laying the dead to rest. We have a chance here in this month of January because Mars is considered to be moving backwards at such a rapid speed because Mars does everything so quickly. We have a chance to rapidly heal our inner child. And that was interesting when this first card came up, which is the Six of Cups here from the spellcasters. And there's the older couple in the background kind of reminiscing, okay, maybe reminiscing about their childhood. And so I was really getting that this is a great chance to kind of, not that we can really like rush our healing, but that we can like dive in deep and get a lot done and get it taken care of, because there's so many things that we need to do in our lives, so many things that we want to do, and we don't want to be stuck constantly in this, okay? And I'm speaking to myself as I speak to you. I'm seeing this 2025 year as such a great opportunity to kind of take a deep look at what's going on internally, okay? So a couple of the other cards that came out too were the King of Pentacles here, which shows me about what's of value, right? How important is chasing the dollar? How important are your relationships? How healthy are your relationships? Okay, there's kind of a relationship theme here. Relationship with your inner child, right? They might be watching their future generations there in front of them. This king has these guys hanging out in the background. Are these people healthy for you? Is this what's important to you? And then the last card I picked was the Two of Wands, and this really more relationship stuff and this empty space in the face area that who knows who's in there. Are we just trying to fill the void with people in our lives? Are we picking the right people? Are we void of emotion when it comes to looking at the past? Are we ready to take responsibility? Okay. That was the vibe that I got from these cards. Okay. So be bold, be strong, be ready, be open, be willing to take responsibility and what needs to change, what we need to forgive, okay? And this isn't just like, okay, yeah, fine, I forgive you. This is like, yeah, okay, I really get this, because Mars has a lot to do with anger. Right? Mars is so fast, and it's the warrior, and it's the fighter, it's the planet of action, it's the god of war. And so it's so easy to be moving so quickly that we don't even stop to acknowledge our pain or to get so comfortable with our anger. I felt like I was really connecting with that you get so used to being angry. You feel that you're just in it, right? I share my experiences of growing up as a Jehovah's Witness. I've shared some of that on my blog, on my webpage, Tarot in Time, THYME.com. You can read some of the stories I've written as a child experiencing the belief system. Okay. So there's been a long time where I've just been angry. I felt very validated to feel angry because felt like I had been shortchanged. Okay. Felt like I had missed opportunities. I had been robbed of a holiday celebration, of family vibes that I needed so bad. I had experienced being shunned as a 15-year-old and since then. And I felt very, very angry, which in a way, which I thought was in a healthy way. But really now I can see that it's time for me to really take responsibility for my roles, that I know that I am the one creating my reality now. And I can step out of that victim mode and step into acceptance and taking responsibility. Okay. we can see the events can really show us how strong we are. We always have the choice of being a rebel, but are we a rebel out of a victim mentality, or are we being the rebel from strength? Okay. And so that's why we have to forgive other people. And we don't want to be caught up in that victim mentality, because that victim mentality is not going to get us anywhere we want to go. It's actually just going to pull us down and kind of sink us more. Okay. So I'm talking to myself here when I say that it's time to step out of the victim mentality. It's time to step into the strength, to let down the anger. And I hope that you will feel a connection with that too. Now, I think it's kind of almost a little trippy, the fact that like December was just like, what the heck was that? Okay. December was like all these retrogrades going on. We had the Mercury retrograde going on from November 25th to December 15th. We had a Neptune retrograde. I think we had a Saturn. We had a lot. And now we have the Mars retrograde, which started in December too. So when we started the month of January 1st, we have Neptune at 27 degrees of Pisces. Neptune rules the sign Pisces. Neptune is the great healer, but it also rules illusion and delusion in its own watery sign of Pisces, okay? Now on December 1st, Neptune was at 27 degrees Pisces, and now on January 1st, here we are again. It's almost like we blinked and here we are again. We're at the same place, okay? So we might find the month of December to be a very watery, kind of interesting time of all that was going on, all that was floating around. Here we are again. It's like a month later. We have Saturn. Saturn was at 12 degrees of Pisces on December 1st. Well, here on January 1st, it's at 14 degrees Pisces. So very slow movement. We started with Mars at 6 degrees of Leo on December 1st. Well, here on January 1st, Mars is at 1 degree of Leo. Very slow movement. Mercury was at 19 degrees of Sagittarius on December 1st. Now it's at 21 degrees on January 1st. So it's almost like there was this I feel like we were just like out of body in December. Like, where were we? What was going on? It was very foggy, but I hope for you it was a very creative, resting. I know it was the holidays, but very watery experience. Okay. Now we move into this time when we should start seeing a little bit more movement. But we know, as we talked about last month, that this period of this winter is a gestation period. This is a period to reflect. This is a period to work on some things maybe we've set to the side, or things that we need to revisit during a retrograde. It's a great time for old projects to come back out, to finish stuff up, okay? But in a gentle, kind, loving way. Remember, you're doing this deep dive on kind of healing your childhood, and you're going to need a lot of rest, all right? So take it, because when we get to spring, once we get out of the Venus retrograde that's going to begin in March and go into April, we get into April, we're going to start to see planetary movements into the sign of Aries. That a lot of these planets are going to go direct, and this slow energy is not going to be there, okay? So take advantage of it while you can. All right, now what I was saying about talking about that mirror, I was listening to a lot of great videos about Mars retrograde, and how when we reach this point of January 14th through 17th, Mars is said to be closest to Earth at that point and kind of moving at its like fastest speed. And so Mars is the masculine, right? We spend a lot of time talking about the feminine, but the masculine, which gets a lot of negative smack talk these days, we all contain masculine. We all are part of that. And so we are going to be able to see a mirror of ourselves. So I would put a big star on January 16th. Really pay attention to what is coming up to show us, to mirror to us. And also those days from the 14th to the 17th are going to be super important days. So really highlight those, okay? On the 14th, I wrote down, I will no longer settle for solutions that are less than me. The 15th, I take responsibility for my own actions. It is up to me to create what I want. No more victim. 16th. Today is a mirror of our masculine self. Reflect on the image, okay? So please take advantage of that time. One awesome astrologer that I was listening to, Adam Gainsbourg, he's called Sky Astrology, and he really talks about the distance of the planets to us. It was very intriguing. And he was talking about how on the dates of, let's see if I have this right, on the dates of January 14th through 17th, he was recommending taking a red candle, a large one that can burn for 72 hours, and let it burn, obviously safely, and state the intention. I am the source of my own actions. I will not settle for solutions that are less than what I want. I raise the bar on how much I can act in my own behalf and not rely on others. Okay, so this is a lot about, even though, yes, we need others, but really getting really self-reliant and really trusting ourselves and really honoring ourselves in a way that will not settle for less. This is not an arrogant, haughty way. This is in a true, I am validating myself and I will not accept less than. Okay? So that's a lot. Isn't that a lot? I mean, I think that's a lot. Okay, so be the rebel from the place of strength. And remember, the strength card was our card of the year last year, 2024, because 2024 equals 8. And now this year, we are moving into 9 energy. And 9 energy is the Hermit card. Okay, this is the Hermit card. This is Virgo energy. He is your path of truth. He is your inner guide. He needs time alone to think his thoughts, okay, to sort things out, to put everything into order, okay? So theme card for the whole year. 9 is our number for the whole year. And that means that the cycles run in 9. So we are ending a 9-year cycle this year. Okay, we'll be moving into a 1 year in 2026. And all these planets will be moving into Aries, which is the first house in the zodiac. So there's a lot of fresh energy coming for us. All right, so let's break this down week by week. I will be reposting this later. And we are going to start off where we left off last month, which was January 6th through January 12th. Now, there's a lot of aspects going on, okay? So we have Pluto, the planet of transformation, in this positive trine with the planet Uranus. We have Mercury, the planet of communication, squaring Neptune. So anytime we get Neptune involved, we know it's going to be foggy, okay? And so Mercury wants to, rush and speed and deliver information, and Neptune wants to retreat back and to consider it all and to be very creative. So don't rush your words, okay? Jupiter, the planet of luck and blessings, is squaring Saturn, the planet of responsibility, right? So Jupiter wants to think big, and Saturn's like, let's thin that back, cut that back, and play it safe, okay? We have Mars, the planet of action, trining Neptune. So we know Mars is in its retrograde. It's making a lovely trine with this watery healing planet Neptune, which gives us more opportunity here for healing the inner child, okay? So we start off the week with the moon moving, let's see, it'll be in the sign of Aries on Monday the 6th, and Mars will retrograde back out of Leo into the sign of Cancer, okay? This is going to be an emotional day. Emotions run deep, slow down, and listen as Mars moves into Cancer. Not its favorite placement, because Cancer moves too slow for Mars. And Mars is already retrograding, so now it's back into this water, okay? Great time for swimming if we could. Okay, now Tuesday, I wrote down, is the lightest day of the week, Tuesday the 7th. And the moon is sextile Venus. So the moon, the feminine planet, the moon, our intuition, our feeling, our knowing, is making this positive aspect with Venus. It's a beautiful thing. And also the moon will be making a trine with Mercury in Sagittarius. So enjoy the day on the 7th. I put some stars on it. Wednesday the 8th, Venus will be conjunct together with Neptune in Pisces. Okay, so we want to kind of take it slow. Mercury is going to enter Capricorn, so there's a little bit more serious conversation here than when it was in the lighthearted sign of Sagittarius. It's almost like get back to work. So my advice would be to focus on work on the 8th, because love is going to be quite confusing that day. All right. Now, Thursday the 9th, it's still going to be foggy. Be careful in your relationships. Be gentle to yourself. Okay. And Friday the 10th, words get big easily. So there's some Jupiter energy. The moon is conjunct Jupiter in Gemini. Words can get big. So, try to keep it light. Use words like it's a great day for good humor, or maybe just to watch a funny movie, but it's not a day to get into deep conversation. All right. Now, for the weekend, the moon's going to it's going to be in Gemini on Saturday, and then it's going to be in Cancer on Sunday. So Saturday, you want to take responsibility in your relationship, slow down and listen, okay? Because we have a lot going on. So just Venus is going to be conjunct Saturn, okay? And so Saturn wants you to take responsibility, and Venus is harmony and relationships. So make sure, especially if there's been conversations, take responsibility for things that you have said, or maybe there was a misunderstanding, but you just take responsibility for that, okay? It'll help your relationships greatly. Now, on Sunday, it's a great day to move slowly, to sleep in. Moody energy, and I wrote say you're sorry, so make sure it goes back to take that responsibility thing. If you need to say you're sorry, if there's any part of you that thinks you might need to say you're sorry, okay? All right, I'm going to put a few cards on the table for the week. So these were our overall cards for the month. So I'm just going to kind of leave that back there. I'm going to add the Hermit to it because he's our card of the year, just so we don't forget about him. All right, now let's pull a couple cards for this week. This week of 1/6 through 1/12. And so I haven't looked at any of these. I'm using Mystical Melodies Tarot deck, which I personally really love. It's vintage cartoons, and I don't think everybody loves it as much as I do, but I love it. All right, so I'm going to pull a couple here for what you need to know this week of January 6th through 12th. And I'm working with a few different decks here. I also have the Spellcasters out, which has always been a favorite of mine. Some of the cards are really intense, so I don't always use it with clients, but I am going to use it here today. All right, let's see what you need to know this week ahead. You got the Lovers, and we said a lot about love, okay? We said a lot about Venus, and we said a lot about being careful with your words. This is Gemini energy. It's a card about choices. And oh, look at the little snake down there. We know we're moving into the year of the snake in February in Chinese astrology. So here's a card of choices, a card of communication, definitely a card of love too, okay? But their faces are kind of like, ooh, oh. And so just be careful what's being said, okay? It's almost like you could expose a story that not everybody knows, okay? And it could cause someone pain. Now, your second card is the Strength card. And this is the card of the year last year in 2024. And so it's kind of funny, Strength card. Okay, so you got two major arcanas here. And we know Strength is Leo energy, and we know Mars is retrograding in the sign of Leo. It's also kind of, to me, just kind of asking, did you learn your lessons last year? Okay, Strength is about not being too strong, not being too weak, finding that middle ground. And there is something here about in conversation. Now, your third card for the week ahead is the Queen of Swords. She's the queen of communication. She could be a Gemini queen or any air queen. Okay, she's no nonsense. And she's got her bull next to her, a symbol for Taurus. So she's grounded, and she's not afraid to speak up, to make the cuts, to do what she needs to do there. She knows what's important, and what's of value. All right, I'm just going to leave that there. Let's see, we got an oracle, and it is the fire, the four, the rooster here. This is from the Everyday Witch Familiars Oracle, same people that did the Everyday Witch Tarot. So this is a fun one. All right, so you got a rooster. And the first thing it makes me think of is like it's Mars retrograde, right? So you're kind of almost doing the opposite of what you usually do. So maybe you're getting up earlier. Maybe you're going to see the sunrise. You know, as I was listening to that astrologer that does sky astrology, he was saying like one of the best things you can do other than to heal your inner child wound, forgive your parents, even if they are on the other side. Okay. And I recently had a great session with Mela Rispoli, the new psychic medium working with us. And I was she connected me with my parents, even though they were on the other side. And I got a great healing out of it. So the work can be done no matter what. Okay. With the rooster here, it's like he's not afraid to show up, to speak loudly. Although some of the messages here were to be careful with your words, but also there's some things that's just like have to be said. They're in your nature. They're part of what you're supposed to do. And you can't always keep everything. Like that rooster's not going to keep it to himself, right? He's doing what he needs to do. He speaks loudly. Let's see what the book has to say. Here he is. He says, this card says, be loud and proud. Don't hide your light under a bushel. It's time to show everyone what you can do instead of being modest and letting someone else take the credit for your hard work. Show up, step out, strut your stuff with your head held high. There's nothing wrong with the confidence if you've earned it. Okay? So own it, but be careful not to offend others or to leak some information that you know this week. So it's kind of interesting. It's like all these really powerful cards, strength, the Queen of Swords, which she's a powerhouse, this rooster energy, but then the lovers are there like, woo, woo, right? So maybe there's some things that are really long overdue to be said, but you need to make sure that you remember your tone, okay? All right, now let's move into week 2, which is January 13th through 19th. Just going to leave these cards up here that were kind of the theme cards until we pick more. All right, so we're talking about January 13th through January 19th, and this is our full moon, okay? So remember, we had all this full moon energy, we were building to it, and now we're at a 23-degree Cancer full moon at 5:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have themes of the home work balance, okay? Because Cancer is like the nurturing home, mom energy, opposite the sun in Capricorn, which is like work, masculine, responsibility, okay? So there's always going to be this balance thing is always going to be a theme on a full moon because they're always across from each other. So look and see where 23 degrees of Cancer and Capricorn are in your chart. This is where the light will be shining brightly, where the attention will be accentuated. And if you're listening, you can feel free to comment with your birth date, time of birth, place of birth, and I can help you out and let you know where that is in your chart, okay? It'd be great to hear from you because sometimes I just feel like I'm talking to myself here. So please comment below. I'd love it. All right, now, so homework balance, Monday the 13th. Anytime we are dealing with a Cancer full moon, Cancer actually rules the moon. So this is a very, very powerful moon, and there's a lot of themes of self-nurture, and we already know there's a lot of themes of that for the year. Cancer's the mother, Capricorn's the father. Great opportunity for this deep dive of healing, as we talked about before, okay? Now, on Tuesday, we already talked earlier about some of the statements to be made. If you want to burn a red candle for 72 hours, you have that option. But just having some awareness of this opportunity to make some statements to the universe, to allow the Mars retrograde energy to mirror itself to you so that you can see your own masculine energy, the things that need to heal, the things that you're strong at. So Tuesday the 14th, I will no longer settle for solutions that are less than me. The 15th, I take responsibility for my actions. It's up to me to create what I want, okay? That's on Wednesday the 15th, when the moon will still be in the sign of Leo, okay? So it's going to be interesting because Mars is right there, okay? So we have this opportunity. Thursday the 16th, the moon will move into the sign of Virgo right before lunch, Eastern Standard Time. Today is a mirror of our masculine self. Reflect on the image, okay? It's a huge chance. So, put a star on your calendar. Take notes of what's going on that day, the 14th through the 17th. The 17th with the moon in Virgo is a great time to analyze your 2024 numbers, to be working on any budgets. Virgo energy is very helpful for that. Now, the weekend energy, we will have the moon in the sign of Virgo all day Saturday until about 10:30 p.m. And it's good vibes, but don't overcommit as things are foggy, okay? Make sure you get your alone time. Virgo is the Hermit card. The Hermit card is our card of the year, and we have to walk our own path of truth. We need our time to get our things in order. Doesn't mean we can't be in relationship, just means we need to prioritize these times. Now the moon, speaking of relationships, will move into the relationship sign of Libra on Saturday the 18th in the evening. And then Sunday we will have a Libra moon, air sign. And the sun's going to move into Aquarius at 3 p.m. So we'll have two air signs, sun in an air sign, moon in an air sign. So lots of mental energy, lots of good ideas. Libra wants to cooperate with others, and Aquarius sometimes wants to cooperate with others. Aquarius is concerned about the well-being of everyone, but doesn't always tolerate people that well. So slow down and enjoy. There is some passionate energy available with the sun really close to Pluto, and Pluto does rule sex. So you could have a great Sunday the 19th. Let's pull a couple cards for you this week. This full moon week with the sun moving into the air sign of Aquarius. I know it sounds like a water sign. It is the water bearer. Aquarius is said to have come here to dip their toe into emotions. Now, Aquarius is definitely the coldest time of the year up here in New England, and it's a very interesting time. Aquarius is such a sign that I feel that I don't understand well, which is going to be interesting because I'm going to grow into an Aquarius in a few years in my progress chart. Aquarius does what it wants, okay? It's very rebellious, but it's also very humanitarian. This is the first time the sun and Pluto are in the sign of Aquarius together in, I think, over like 240 years, okay? So this is interesting times. And interesting times as some of these planets are getting to the end of their signs. Pluto just changed signs. We know it hasn't done that for 16 years. Just happened on November 19th. We know we've got Neptune and Saturn getting ready to change signs in the spring. So there's going to be some change in the air, okay? All right, so back to cards for this week. Let's see what we got here. I got the spellcasters. I got the mystical melodies. I'm going to take one here from the Solitary Witch Oracle, which I love. Such a beautiful one. The art is fantastic. Okay, so let's see what you need to know here. Your first card is the Knight of Wands. Lots of fire energy. Mars just moved back into Cancer. And I think our planets are starting to move out of fire signs, but we've got the Knight of Wands here who's full speed ahead. And he's got his protective armor on and he is moving forward. Okay, so I want to envision that in your healing, moving forward in your healing. Here's the 10 of Cups, which is considered the happy family card. And so there's a lot of emotion here. We are in a full moon week, not only a full moon, but a watery full moon. Okay, so it's showing gathering together with loved ones. It's showing great joy, but it's definitely just going to be a lot of emotion. Okay. And the King of Wands here looks like he's like a movie director. He's a fire king and he's kind of shouting some commands at you. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're going to get a real clear message as to that mirror of your masculine self there on Thursday the 16th. I think it's going to be loud and clear, almost like the rainbow's really big and you can see it all. The King of Wands is speaking into whatever those things are called. So he could be heard really loud. Okay. So I don't think there's going to be it's not going to be a guessing game here. Let's see what your oracle card is. It says, when fretful times come, and there's a full moon behind it. Okay. Isn't that art gorgeous? Look how pretty that is. Okay. So when fretful times come, which we know anytime we're dipping into deep emotion, it's going to come, and it might come in waves, and it doesn't mean that it's going to be here forever. So sometimes we just need to feel it and then it moves out. Okay. It says, when fretful times come, in all lives come those times when we cannot sleep easy. The world, its worries, our personal concerns rush in, borrow in, take up space needed for thoughtfulness and calm. When worry points its bitter dagger into our minds, the solitary witch knows how to create a sanctuary amidst the storm. She stops pushing at the worry. Instead, she accepts it there and takes it to her natural sanctuary or peaceful place. I like that. So there's a lot on the mind, but it's almost like they're compared it to a storm, and yet we have this rainbow. All right. So just allow yourself to push through the pain here. You got the Knight of Wands. He's going to push through. And I think that you're going to have some breakthroughs, and I think that you may have a good cry and you're going to feel refreshed. Okay. So that's a good thing. Now we move into the week of 120 through 126. And this first day, it's Inauguration Day and it's Martin Luther King Day. And there's intense energy just with all of that going on. Okay. We know the moon is going to be in the sign of Libra, which is the peacemaker. So hopefully that will help us out and keep the peace as this inauguration happens. We will have Pluto conjunct the sun. Okay, so Pluto wants to transform things, and there it is right there. They're both at 1 degree of Aquarius. It's going to be interesting times. The sun will be trining Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter wants to make things big. The sun will be trining the moon in Libra, air sign, air sign. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of communication going on. There's going to be a lot of broadcasting. There's going to be a lot of information flying around, and not all of it's going to be true, and it's going to be intense. Choose peace. Choose peace in your own life and let it reflect out from there. Tuesday, we want to choose love, okay? We've got a trine with Venus and Mars. So Venus is written as a symbol for men, and Mars is written as a symbol, or Venus is women, Mars is men. They're trining each other. Again, the sun's going to be close to Pluto. We know we have a couple squares still going on. So the moon is squaring Mars and Pluto. It's going to be it's going to be intense. So choose love, okay? Best answer I can give you. Wednesday, the 22nd, the moon moves into Scorpio. Things get a little bit smoother here because the moon is trining Venus and Saturn and Neptune. So trust feeling because it's water energy. Enjoy the harmony because there's a lot more peacefulness and there's a little bit more positive energy with Venus, which rules harmony. Okay. Thursday the 23rd, you gotta watch your words. You got Mercury at 23 degrees Capricorn, which is conjunct Pluto because Pluto's at 1 degree, so they're close enough to be considered conjunct along with the sun. Mercury is going to be opposite Mars, the god of war. Okay, so this can get, these words can get heated, things can get misunderstood. I would just take it easy and I would be super careful about sarcasm as the moon enters Sagittarius late in the evening on Thursday, the 23rd. On the 24th, we have an opposition with Jupiter. My advice to you is to envision the end result that you want. Okay, envision how you want things to go and allow it to happen that way. Now, on Saturday, so we move into the weekend, we have a Sagittarius Saturday, and a Capricorn Sunday, okay? So Saturday, there's a lot of squares. There's a square with Venus, with Saturn, with Neptune. And we know the squares are those 90-degree angles, and they make things harder, okay? And so on Saturday is a great day to do whatever the heck you want, okay? Sagittarius loves to do its own thing. Go and do it, okay? Sunday is the smoothest day of the week. And Sunday, we have Venus trining Mars. We have Mars trining Saturn and Neptune, but we do have the moon square Neptune, okay? So there's still going to be fogginess, but there's going to be a little bit more smoother feeling, okay? So just kind of go slow, move slow, and I would say rest, all right? There's a lot of planets kind of scrunched together. There's a lot in Capricorn, there's a lot in Aquarius, and nothing's balanced. And so just take it slow and easy. Let me give you a few cards for this week, this inauguration week, this Martin Luther King Day, this week of choosing love, choosing harmony, choosing peace, okay? So let's see what we got here for you. Your first card is the Nine of Wands. I think this is kind of cool, the way the arrow is pointing that way. It's like, look this way. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot asking for your attention, okay? There's a Death card. This is a pretty hairy one. This is why I don't use this deck with my clients. Now you can understand, right? So yeah, it's not quite the warm and gentle Death card. We know that this is a card ruled by Pluto. We know Pluto is really active this week. We know it's an intense week. You know, it's a very politically active week, okay? So stay focused, like that arrow is pointing on the Nine of Wands. And you only have so much control in the situation, okay? And there is actually, this card is showing me great transformation. So let's allow that to be. Here's the Ten of Swords. And look at that. He's like, I joke and call this the acupuncture card. He's got all those swords, all those thoughts in his back. But I love that he's holding up like a peace symbol, right? He's like, hey, I'm okay. But he's not, but he's all right. He learned something. He learned something about being overstimulated, overcommitted, and there is showing me that there is change that has to take place, okay? So I'm not going to get into politics, but we know it's a big week politically. We know that we also want to bring change into our life this month. We're looking to release the past, okay? So make sure you get enough rest, because all of these cards are pretty intense. We know that 9 is our number of the year, so making sure that you're taking the downtime. Let me give you one oracle card just to kind of hopefully lighten these cards up a little. We'll use the Everyday Witch Familiar. And we've got the cheetah. I can't say it really lightened things up. It's also pretty intense. Okay, it says fire number 3, the cheetah. And let's just see briefly what the message of the cheetah is here. It says the card means it is time to move fast, which we know it's not really because of Mars retrograde. But it says if you have been debating about whether or not to do something, the cheetah says go, go, go. No hesitation, okay? And it also says now is the time to ponder if you have been on the fence about something, okay? So hopefully we'll move past this intense week. Cheetah is a very powerful, kind of like, it's a cat, so it's Leo. And we know that Mars is in the sign of, was in the sign of Leo heading back into Cancer, okay? So let's just do our healing work, same theme that we have for the month. As we move into a new moon week next week, Aquarius New Moon together with Pluto. Now we move into the week of January 22nd through February 2nd. And the energy, like I said last week, is very consolidated. We want to use it for good. There's a lot of planets in Capricorn. There's a lot of planets in Aquarius. We've got Gemini up there, or got a planet in Gemini, Jupiter in Gemini. So there's not much, most things are together right now, okay? So use it for good. Work and rest. Work and rest. Mercury moves into the sign of Aquarius on Tuesday, the 28th, and we want to stay really grounded, okay? Stay grounded, stay in the moment. We have 4 planets in Aquarius. We have 5 planets in air signs, so we're going to have a lot of mental activity going on. We have 3 planets in the sign of Pisces and 4 planets in water altogether. So 5 planets in air, 4 planets in water, that's 9 planets. We deal with 10 planets, or I deal with 10 planets in astrology. So there's low earth energy. So stay grounded and stay in the moment. The moon will be trining Jupiter and Uranus. Venus will be trining Mercury. We got a lot of aspects going on, okay? Stay grounded. You can stay grounded. Lots of ways to stay grounded. You can use some stones in your pocket, right? Stones are grounding in general. You can use some black stones or some red jasper, whatever works to stay grounded. Sheila Haidt talks about using ankle weights. I love that version. Wearing them around the house, okay? Help you stay grounded, stay in the moment. Wednesday the 29th is our Aquarius New Moon, and it happens at 7:36 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this moon is conjunct Pluto. Pluto is the secret keeper or the secret revealer. And so hidden truths will come to light, all this air energy. And I kind of even got it could come to light by mistake, like someone's error. They tell you something they weren't supposed to, okay? But there's information to be revealed. Thursday the 30th, nothing is balanced. The moon will move into Pisces in the evening. So make sure you go really slow, because whenever we get Pisces involved, things are going to get really unclear. And now we have even more planets in water signs, okay? It's a lot of water and it's a lot of air. So there can be a lot of communication and a lot of thinking, and then there's a lot of water, and it can get confused and watery, and we might misinterpret, okay? So Uranus goes direct Friday the 31st. Great. We need some more planets going direct, okay? So 4 planets in water in Pisces, 5 planets in water signs on Friday the 31st. Feelings are your guides. They'll guide you. They'll show you what's going on. Go slow and safe. Pay attention. Write things down. Okay, write things down with all this air energy there too. You could produce a masterpiece. You could have some amazing artistic piece that comes out of you, okay? These are the times when you have a lot of air and water. Now, Saturday, the moon will be in Pisces most of the day. So just relax, try to rest, try to sleep, try to do something watery and creative, okay? Great day for that. Sunday, moon moves into Aries. It actually moves into Aries at 8:10 p.m. on the 1st. So things are starting to move a little bit more with Aries energy. Now remember, Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is still retrograde, okay? Now this is Imbolc. This is like the goddess unfurling. This is when you think of all those little bulbs that are pushing up. They're growing like way underground and getting ready to push through some of that snow, okay? So there's kind of like this stirring underneath the ground. So you can know that if you get down about winter here in Connecticut, that you know that spring is starting to stir deep under the ground with the pagan holiday of Imbolc celebrated on 2/2. All right. Now let me give you a few cards for this new moon week. New moon in Aquarius, first new moon in the sign of Aquarius that since Pluto has entered Aquarius, okay? So there's a lot of newness because Aquarius is new ideas, cutting edge, technology, AI, and Pluto wants to bring change. Here's the 4 of Swords. You're getting some rest here. You got your guides protecting you so that you can feel safe to sleep. Okay, pause. The 2 of Wands, he's kind of tied to those fence posts, but he is enjoying the bird, the conversation with the bird. Okay, he's making the best out of where he is. Two of Wands. And Temperance, which is a card of luck, blessings, and expansion. This is Jupiter energy. And she's got stars for eyes. Okay, so Jupiter comes in and makes things big. Okay, so there's things about resting, there's things about accepting where you are, and just making the most of it, dipping our toe into new waters. Okay, so we're starting to know that things are going to start to pick up speed as we move into the spring, but really taking the energy right now to really go inward as much as we can. So that is the month of January, and I'm going to go into sign by sign readings for you so we can really get to it individually for you. Please comment. Like, I've changed my format a few times. If you preferred the pick a pile reading, let me know. I need to know that. If you like the new sign by sign readings, let me know if that's aligning with you too. And I really appreciate you joining me. Have a great month of January.